Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, this particular video tonight involves a song that we've looked at multiple times on the channel, and I believe every single performance that we've looked at of this particular song has been edited from a pitch perspective, whether it be pitch corrected or auto-tuned. So this is Oh Holy Night, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at David Phelps performing it. And this request was made from somebody saying this is my favourite performance, of this particular song, and they just wanted to know whether it was what it was or whether it has been edited or not. So we are going to be jumping into it. We will have a listen to the isolated vocal. Of course, the link to the original video is in the description below if you guys want to check it out independently without all of the analysis. But let's have a listen to David, see how he gets on.
Oh, holy night, and the stars are brightly shining.
I'm going to jump in immediately because we had a little bit of a drift here, which you would expect. But I mean, this is the kind of thing that immediately, when we're over a line for that amount of time, sets off alarm bells. But let's listen on.
Of our dear Saviour's birth.
And a little bit sharp there. So this is another thing to point out, that David Phelps obviously has an amazing voice. So I think that kind of thing that we saw there was his natural pitch coming through. And he actually drifted quite far flat there, so in between the E3 and the F3.
And long lay the world in sin and error pining.
And I know exactly what long-time viewers are waiting for. We do have held notes in this song. We'll wait till we get there. And we had a held note here. And again, really accurate and kind of over the line here. But considering the beginning of the performance, with those bits where the held notes seem to be, pretty much over the white lines, when you start getting notes being held and notes that are covering the white lines here for a long time, it starts to speak more of manipulation and calibration rather than a natural human voice. But we'll let it go on.
Till he appeared.
And I think it's fair to say that we're starting to get a bit of a theme with held notes here.
And the sun.
And again.
Fell.
And again, I mean, you could actually hear the processing there on the F4.
It's worth.
Oh, there we go. Actually plotted it the octave above, which just happens sometimes. There we go. So yeah, it was perfectly over that F5. That's why it did sound, well, it was over the F4, but it's plotted it on the F5. Because, I mean, sometimes it picks up on a harmonic within the note that, again, it's just trying to plot pitch here. So the fact that it plots it perfectly over an F5 and it was an F4 shows that the frequency is absolutely A440 standard pitch equal temperament.
It's worth a thrill of hope. The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
So, I mean, yeah, it's not getting plotted directly over the line because it's breaking up. But we've just got lots of dots on the line here.
On your knees, oh,
there we go again.
hear the angel voices.
And it's almost like whenever we have a held note, it's going to be directly over these lines. I mean, thankfully, with David's voice, he does have a lot of vibrato in there, so it means that we're not having to hear this calibration all the time.
Oh,
And exactly the same thing again there.
night.
So yeah, I mean, when you start seeing this level of calibration, and by the way, there are 100 cents between these lines. So that means that there's 100 places that you can go before hitting another line. So when you're hitting notes that are directly over this white line, it means that it's like a tuner. It's sticking exactly to 0 cents. And that's what this is. This is being tuned to A440 standard pitch equal temperament. So this isn't the natural pitch that David would have been supplying in his actual performance. So yeah, I mean, it is a huge shame because, again, I'd love to hear a natural voice with this song.
Divine.
I say song or hymn, no, depending on what you class it as.
All night when Christ was born. All night divine. All night.
I mean, it is relentlessly calibrated here. And the good thing about that vibrato that I was saying, here we're kind of on the line and we kind of shift a little bit, but I think all of this has kind of been kind of dragged over the line, which is what you do with Melodyne. And the thing is, you don't even need to hear, well, you can see a little dot on the A4 line there. You don't even need to hear it, or don't need to see it to hear that it's just, it would be perfectly over the line. Obviously that little dot gives it away.
All night divine.
And what I don't understand is this absolute obsession with these lines, because time after time after time after time, video after video after video, there's this obsession with placing everything on A440 standard pitch equal temperament to just almost the point of insanity.
And truly he taught us to love
Like even that, just a tiny held note over the D sharp 4.
one another.
F sharp 4.
His law is love.
I mean, the good thing is that this kind of thing here, because David's vibrato is so wide, this is really difficult to edit unless you're kind of squashing it down, and it's going to sound more mechanical like that to get it kind of closer to a line. But here you can see that technically we do descend a little bit. So for that note there, it sounds more natural because it can't be edited as much.
His law is love, and his gospel is peace.
But you can see on screen the more kind of random nature of the lines when you've got vibrato in there. It hasn't been squashed down and placed directly over a line. We've got actually a bit of a variation in the pitch that's covered with the vibrato. So it's going to sound more like a human voice because it hasn't been as edited.
Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name.
I mean, the thing is, with this performance, for any held note, we have not missed a line.
All oppression.
And again, you know, even though it's plotting it up here, an octave higher, just directly over the line. And I know people that haven't been watching my channel for any length of time will say, oh, maybe he's that good. This isn't how, first of all, sound works, but this isn't how vocal cords work, and this isn't how great singers sing. David would not be on these lines. I guarantee you that if somebody had recorded this in the venue, he would not be on these lines because he's too good a singer to be on these lines, because great singers aren't on these lines all the time because of the natural expression in their voice. So when you're looking at expressive singers, as David is one, if it's on the lines all the time, there's a problem. That's not expression, that's calibration. When there's no held notes, it starts to sound so much more natural because of his vibrato and the fact that the producer can't kind of correct it. He has to just leave it as it is.
All within us praise his holy name.
And that's the problem, that I'm sure that note didn't sound like that live. It would have. This just sounds ridiculous because somebody's moved it there. And then straight, I mean, it sounds like talkbox, straight down to the F sharp 4. Yeah. I mean, this is actually, I don't know, I was about to say the most edited from a held note perspective that I think I've seen. But now I'm thinking back to the other performances of Oh Holy Night, I think they might have been similar to this, that there are so many held notes, they've just been totally stuck over the lines all the time.
I said, oh, night, divine, oh, night, when Christ was born.
Got a bit of delay on the vocal now. And when I say that, I mean the vocal repeating, not that it's not coming out at the right time.
Oh, night, divine, oh, night,
And for reference, that's a C sharp 5. So that's a semitone higher than the male tenor high C. So, yeah. I mean, David has a ridiculous voice. I mean, when I say that, I mean naturally, not the sound of this kind of, sounding a bit ridiculous on the lines with a held note. So, unfortunately, this kind of thing, when you can hear equal temperament, it ruins a performance because you're only ever really listening to the bits in between the really heavy and obvious pitch correction. So it's a bit sad that somebody's got their hands on this, and for what looks like a performance that, would be maybe a little bit more, I don't know, intimate and personal, that even these kinds of performances are taken and edited before then being released on YouTube or, being released on, I was going to say video, but being released as a video online. It would have definitely been better left alone because of David's vocal ability and quality. So, there we go. And another one to add to the Oh Holy Night vault of analysis videos where they all seem to be pitch corrected, because nowadays singing something like this and the melody with a held note, producers just can't help themselves from squashing it and putting it on a line because they're looking at it and they think, oh, it isn't on the line, so let me just grab that with my mouse, drag it down. Okay, oh, that one's not on the line, let me grab that, drag it. Oh, this one's flat, so let me grab that and drag it up. And they're literally going through the whole song, doing one by one, just moving over the lines. So yeah, it's ridiculous when you think about it. They're not even listening to it. They're doing it with their eyes, which for music, for me personally, I think that's not the way to do it. I think you should be listening to things first and making any adjustments if you really feel you have to by listening to it and not by looking at it. When you look at it, then it's going to sound manipulated because you haven't judged that musically. You've judged it mathematically and mechanically. So anyway, thank you guys for requesting this particular video for me to take a look at. As always, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!